there's so many people that have zero AI usage.
Right.
Paul and I were talking about a mutual friend that's working on his house, and he was showing him how to use ChatGPT. Here you have a master electrician who's one of the smartest persons I know, dealing with voltage and all this other thing, never touched ChatGPT. I have a nephew who does instrument repair at A&M, zero usage whatsoever with AI. So my point to saying the echo chamber is the students, we're forward thinking, we're looking at it, and we're using AI all the time for different aspects. I do think there is a bit of echo chamber in that world, because I try to use AI for things and I still fail at it. And I'm like, well, crap, I'll just do it the real way, for business wise. So
I like the real way.
that
Real way is changing.
I have to do work. I can't just push a button. But I do think there's the I forgot what it's called, but the hype curve, and I think there is a hype curve aspect, but there's obviously AI usage, but I agree with you in terms of job creation versus doomsday.
We saw this with the Industrial Revolution. All of a sudden there was a lot fewer farmers. And yes, there were farmers that were displaced, but those that wanted to survive and still wanted to feed their family retooled and then moved into a manufacturing facility. And we've seen the data and how that ran. That led to even greater growth, which was more productivity and more jobs. I see AI as that tool and technological advancement that's doing exactly the same thing. Where we step back is we're infusing it into everything we do. Any student leaving the Cox School of Business needs to be adept in a multitude of different AI tools. And it's really how to augment your expertise, but it's expertise plus AI. It's not AI and maybe I know something else. You've got to be expert in understanding. And I think that's where the critical thinking, maybe taking a class on logic, making sure they're good problem solvers, and importantly, the value of humanity, I think, is going to start to go up dramatically as AI can do more things. I mean, I was a math major at undergrad. President Hertz and I were kind of joking about this. We were both math majors undergrad. You do a PhD in financial economics, there's a ton of math involved. We had to actually learn how to grind through all these equations. I joked, you used to have this huge book that had 14,000 integrals that were solved, and you'd see one and you'd kind of flip through of what would be the method to get there. Now it's one click and that thing does it. But where's our advantage then going to come in is, can we identify new problems or a new way to think about what the solution may be? We're just going to be able to get to an answer more quickly with this one. And I think right when ChatGPT first came out, every university, and my past one was the same, and I'm sure they did the same thing at SMU Cox, who immediately said, oh, we need a tool that will tell us if they used AI to write this answer. And so you'd plug it in as, does this seem to be AI generated? And so it was all about trying to stop it. And I think that was a natural reaction, just like you don't want somebody copying from a fraternity file or something. You want people to have to do independent work. And now we're leaning in saying, okay, we just need to lean in. They need to know how to use it. Let's make sure they understand the limitations. So one of my colleagues, he teaches a class. I don't know if you've had Venki from our marketing faculty for a class yet, but he did it for our full-time MBAs. I think it was a full-time MBA class. Came in, there's maybe 30 students in the room. He just verbally said, here's what I want all of you to log in. I don't know if he used Claude or Gamma or ChatGPT. He picked one in the class and said, hey, here's what I want you to use your AI to do. And he just said it verbally. And so everybody had to come up with their own prompt of what they were supposed to get. He then posted all 30 of them up on the screen, and every single answer was different because people had used different ways of framing what the problem that he had said. Now, obviously, if he had pasted it up there, everybody would have typed that in. But it was to say, these are the limitations. Yeah, it can do a lot of stuff, but it's still gonna do what you've specifically told. And I think that's a big part of what we can train at an academic institution.